Hi Stampers, this is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta. And I am happy to be here today with you in lieu of my Friday Facebook Live. So this will release at 11 o'clock on a Friday. Today I'm actually, as you're watching this, well, if you're watching it, I guess, on the Friday that it's released, I am actually at a local crop. So I'm spending the day scrapbooking with some of my friends. So I'm very excited for it. But I didn't want you guys to miss out on some inspiration on a Friday at 11 when you're used to my Friday Facebook Lives. So I pre-recorded this video so that I could release it for you guys so you'd still have something to watch. So today I'm going to show you how to create these cute little mason jar. One of them is a card, and this one is a little gift card holder, or you could use it as a tag as well. So I'm going to show you how you create that. They're really, really simple, and it's using the envelope punch board. All right, so just a reminder, this is a little bit different because it's not a Facebook Live. You can still comment to win the projects that I make today. So comment on the post that I post this on Facebook. So you can comment in that post, you can comment on YouTube. And if you share either the YouTube video or the Facebook post, then you get 5 entries. And next week, next Friday at 11, when I go live on Facebook, I will draw for last week's winner as well as this week's winner. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're gonna start with the gift card holder. So this just pops out and the back looks like that. So you could easily just attach this to a gift and write your message under here. Or you could even punch a hole and hang it from a gift and write your message on the back if you want. This is another one that I created where I added a little insert. So I'll show you how I did that. It's still a pocket. So you can write your message on this insert and then just tuck your gift card holder in, or just gift card in the front. So there's a couple different options. This one uses the Festive Farmhouse suite from the holiday catalog. And this one uses the Dashing Deer stamp set. That's where the greeting is from. And the DSP is from the annual catalog. Under the Mistletoe, I think it might be called. I believe that's what it's called. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to, like I said, create the tag first. So I've got a piece of DSP that measures 2 3/4 by 6 inches. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line it up with the 4 1/4 inch mark. And I'm going to punch, and then I'm going to flip, line it up with 4 1/4 again, and punch. And then I'm going to slide this down, and I'm going to line it right up with the tip of this. See this little thing here? Hopefully you guys can see that. That little nubby thing that sticks out, right with the tip of that. So I'm going to line up the DSP right with the edge, and punch, flip it over, and do the same here. Okay, so then we are done with that for now. And now you've got this wider end and this narrower end. On this narrower end, you're going to take your scissors and just basically just cut straight down. Oh, they didn't line that up very well. That's okay. So just straight down to this notch. And there you've got your mason jar shape. And then you are going to take this and decide which pattern you want in the background and which one you want out. Let's see. So that's my sample. Let's do it the reverse way from my sample. And you're basically just gonna fold this up, just like that, lining up that bottom line, and then use your bone folder so it's nice and crisp. And I'll use a thin layer of Tombow just up the side to seal those pockets. Now you could wrap ribbon around if you didn't want to seal it. There's lots of different things that you can do. So there's the basics of the pocket itself, super simple. And then what I've done is I've taken a sheet of our galvanized paper, which is in the holiday catalog, and I've run it through with our corrugated folder. So I am going to just attach this up to the top like this. Let's see, how am I going to do this? No, let's do it Let's snip this guy out of the way. Okay. So now I'm just going to apply a little bit of adhesive here and put this along the top, and that'll be the mason jar lid. And, oh, that's probably a bit too low. Let's do it. Okay, that looks good. So instead of running a little strip through with the embossing folder, I did like, I don't know, I did maybe a 4x6 piece, just because I knew I was going to make a few of these. And then I've just been using it like this and just trimming off what I use. All right, so there we go. We've got our lid. And then I'm gonna use some of the Festive Farmhouse cotton twine. So it comes in 3 different colors. You get Mossy Meadow, Cherry Cobbler, and Very Vanilla. And we are going to use Cherry Cobbler. So I'm gonna take this and wrap it around and tie a bow. And I always like to tie my bows still on the ribbon, when it's still on the spool, sorry, because you waste less ribbon. You can get just what you need and then trim off the excess. And that is not very tight. Let's redo that. You know, tying a bow on camera is not really overly fun. Okay, all right, so we've got our bow. I'll snip the end there. See, and there's no waste by doing it that way. If you cut your length, then, I mean, you always like to cut it a little long so that it's not too short and it's easy enough to tie, but then sometimes it's too long and you end up wasting some. So now I'm moving it over to the other side because I didn't realize that I was tying it on the wrong side. Oh, and I've got a little snag here. Okay, move it over, and I will probably stick a mini glue dot in behind there just to hold it in place. And now to decorate, actually let's do our insert first. So the insert, so for this one doesn't have an insert, but this one does. So if you wanted to create an insert, you are going to start with a 2 3/8 by 3 3/4 inch piece of cardstock. So I'm using vanilla for this one because this piece has vanilla in it. This piece has white, so you could use either. And then I'm going to simply line it up with the tip right here, this tip. Punch, flip it over, line it up with the tip, punch, and then again just do my little snipping. Just like that. And then I will slide it into my pocket. Oh, the other thing that you can do, when you do it like this would make a great tag as well. So you could do it just like this and decorate it. Do it with DSP and decorate it. And then just punch a hole in the top. And if you round the corners, then it looks a bit more like a mason jar. Okay, so now I'm going to slide it in my pocket. I'm not even going to use adhesive for this at all. And then kind of bend it back. Let's move the ends of our ribbon. Kind of bend it back. And the last one I did slid nicely underneath. I may have put my adhesive just a bit too close to the edge. So I'll just give this a snip. Doesn't matter what this looks like at the top because it's going to be tucked underneath that. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling with this one. Here, let's bend it up like this. Okay, my adhesive is obviously a lot closer to the bottom on this one than it was on the other one. There we go. Okay, so then I'll just slide it up until I'm happy with the way it's lined up. And that looks pretty good. just give that a little bit more pressure to make sure that that sticks down. Fix my bow, and there we've got our tag. So then what I did was I stamped the car from the Farmhouse Christmas stamp set. So I stamped the car with Memento ink, colored it in using my Stampin' Blends, and then stamped a tag and added that on there, and then it's done. So you could even leave it like just like this. It's so simple, but it's super cute. Or you can just make it, step it up just a little bit and add a greeting on there like that. So there's so many different options. So that's for the gift card holder. Now let me show you how to do the tag. Okay, so here's the, or not the tag, the card. Here's the card here. And then I created a little envelope to match so that you could tuck it in. The card, if you stick with these dimensions, the card ends up being 3 by 4. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to start with a 4 by 6 piece of, well, I'm using Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 3 inches right down the center so that I can fold it in half. Okay, out of the way. And then I'm gonna fold it in half, make sure that these lines are really nice and crisp. Bring in my envelope punch board, and with the card folded, I'm going to line the edge of my cardstock up again with that tip and punch. It does require a little bit of pressure. This is something, because you're punching through 2 layers of cardstock. Oh, there we go. I probably wouldn't recommend that you do too many of these, and definitely don't use our thick cardstock when you do this. Just because I would imagine it's not very good for your punches, for your punch board, punching through 2 layers, and you wouldn't want to dull it faster than necessary. Okay, so now I'm just trimming up just like that. And you can see that this is a little bit of a snag here. Let's just clean that up. There we go. Okay, so now my card just opens up like that. All right, so I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to take my piece of corrugated galvanized paper. I'm just trimming this up a little bit so it's a little straighter. And I'm going to apply adhesive across the top, just like that, and put this guy on here, like that, and then I'll flip it over and trim, just like I did in the last one. Seem to have a little split here. Okay, so then I will trim this like that, and down the side. And there's my lid for my mason jar, just like that. And then I can wrap some twine around. So this time I'm going to use Mossy Meadow trim. I love the color Mossy Meadow. I think it's one of my favorites. And I want my bow to be on this side. So, actually, you know what, I'm gonna trim this. I know I just said I normally don't trim it, but I fold a certain way and I put the ribbon on the wrong way, so I couldn't really do it with it attached to the spool. Okay, there we go. So I've got my bow. And then I've got a strip of the Festive Farmhouse DSP, which I'm going to add across the center here. So this strip measures 3/4 of an inch by, I think it's a little longer than 3 inches, but you'll want it to be 3 inches. And I'll just put adhesive across. Put it across the center just like this. And then trim the end. if you need to. Okay, and then I'm going to use this stamp, this Wishing You a Season Full of Peace, Wonder, and Love. Merry Christmas. So I'm going to stamp that twice. I'm going to stamp it once on Whisper White with Memento, and I forgot my Memento ink. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it once on Whisper White and punch it out with my 2-inch circle punch. And then I'm going to stamp it again on some Cherry Cobbler cardstock. I just need a scrap piece of paper here. With Memento. And all I'm concerned about really is the Merry Christmas. Okay, so see, that doesn't matter because it's good. Just the Merry Christmas is gonna get cut out. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna punch this out with my circle punch. Line it up, and I'm not too worried that, you know, the C and the S on the Christmas is going to be cut off because that will get covered over. Okay, and then I'm going to take the coordinating framelits to the Farmhouse Christmas, and I'm going to use this one, and I love how it's stitched. See, if you look closely on there, you can see that it's got the stitching around the edges. So I'm going to use my Big Shot and cut this out. So I'm just going to grab that. Okay, so we'll line this up on here like this. And you can see it's made to fit perfectly. Put this guy on top, feed it through. This guy out of the way. And we don't need this anymore. Okay, so now this is going to go flat on our card base. Let's pull our card base in here. And we'll put this down flat. I'm trying to line up the Christmas with the bottom. Actually, no, I probably want to put it a little lower. Okay. All right, and then this is going to get popped up with dimensionals. The center, just like that. And oh, you know what we forgot to do? I forgot to round my corners. So look at the difference. Just by rounding the corners, it really makes it look a lot more like a mason jar. So I'm just gonna slide those in and round those corners. And then the other thing that I did just to give it a bit more depth was I took a little bit of Pool Party ink and a sponge and just kind of sponged around the edges of the white. And it also gives it that look of, you know, that the blue tinted mason jars? So it kind of gives it that kind of a look as well. All right. Okay, and on the inside, what I did was, I thought it was really plain. Oh, you know what I did? I wrapped my ribbon around the whole thing now so you couldn't open the card. Let's fix that. Okay, let's open this. And you know what? I will not edit that out. That's just, you know what? Things happen. And if this was a Facebook Live, it would have happened live, so I'm not even gonna bother editing that out. You can see my mistakes. And I'm okay with that. Okay, so now we can open our card. I'll trim that end. Okay, so now we can open it. And I thought it was really plain. And then I remembered that, I don't know, it might have been a couple years ago, we had this fabulous glitter tape. I believe it was available during Celebration, and you got two or three different colors, I can't remember. So I thought this silver glimmer tape would be awesome. But if you don't have this washi tape, you could use a piece of silver glimmer paper, or you could even just use silver paper, or if you don't have silver paper, just use like a gray color. It would still give you a very similar look. Or you could use more of that galvanized paper as well. All right, so there we go. And then I stamped a greeting on the inside that says, from our home to yours. But I think I'm gonna leave that off of this one, because what I was thinking was I wanted to convert this one to a gift card holder and put the pocket on the inside. So I think that's what I'm gonna do to this one. All right, and then of course this is 3x4, so we need an envelope to go with it. So I cut, again, I'm using my envelope punch board, and I went down the card sizes and found 3x4. And it says that I need a 6x6 piece of DSP, and my score line is at 2 5/8. So I'm gonna line this up at 2 5/8 and score and punch. And then remember, you measure once and then you don't look at those measurements again. You're lining up this point with the score line. So I'm gonna put this in here and just keep going around on all 4 sides. And then I will round my corners. So you can see it punches so much easier when you're going through 1 layer than when you're going through 2. But that card, making a mason jar card was just such a cute idea. Okay, and then we'll fold along all the score lines. Create our envelope. Okay, and then the other thing that I did, you'll notice that I created a little notch here so that it could tuck in. You could definitely stick it down, but I thought if it's not going in the mail, this would be a great way that people can reuse the envelope and easily open it and not have to wreck it. So what I did for that was, this is how my envelope will go together. So I kind of put this down like this, and before I adhered anything, I took a pencil and I thought, okay, where do I think I want this notch? And I'm just grabbing my ruler here. Okay, I want it probably about there. So just kind of make sure it's somewhat straight. And then on the edge of the little flap thing. So can you see, let me put this underneath. So right about there, I put a little tick mark here and a little tick mark here. That shows me how long I need to extend it so that that little flap will fit in. So now I've got just a self-healing mat, and I'm going to take my ruler again and an X-Acto knife and slit my pocket, or make my slit. I apologize if my head's in the way. Okay, that should be good. So let's see if this works here. And you want to test it out before, that's perfect, before you assemble your envelope, because then you can make that slit and not have to cut through all the layers. So now I'm going to add my adhesive just on these 2 flaps, fold that up, and there we go. There's a little card, mason jar card with a coordinating envelope, and then we've got some gift card holders as well. All right, so thanks so much for watching. If you are from Canada and do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and would like to place an order online, feel free to visit my website at www.stamptreasures.com, and if you place a minimum order of $50 using this hostess code, the gift for this month is actually a package of our new chicken wire, which is really, really cool. So Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care.